Welcome to Gaia's Love, a podcast of brief messages to help humanity bridge the gap to the new earth. My name is Vivienne Gerard. It is my delight to be a scribe for consciousness today, sharing the wisdom that flows through from Source. Here we go. Episode 96. It is Thursday today and it's still cold. It's still snowy. It's still gray outside. This weather report may not be quite as exciting as we move through winter here, but it is beautiful. It is beautiful. I am moving slowly today. I noticed my body is a little tired. Just slow. It doesn't hurt, but it's just a little slow. And so I was pondering this morning, like what is most relevant? And the word that came forward is transcribing. I am in the middle, moving towards the end of transcribing the recordings that I made for the book that I'm completing called Gaia's Gifts. And the process of transcribing is just so, it's taking up so much of my time in the best of ways. And so I was just reflecting about that this morning and how transcribing actually works. So I thought we would just play with that for a little bit. When I was little, my mom was a secretary for a long time. She's amazing at organization and event planning and keeping people where they need to be, doing what they need to do. She's just brilliant at it. And so she worked for these top-level executives at an insurance firm for a long time. And she would use dictaphone, or they would dictate things for her, and then she would transcribe them. She would sit with the headphones and, do all of the transcribing of their meeting notes and events they were preparing and hosting. She also knows shorthand, which I've never figured out. And so she could be in a meeting and just keep up with everything that's being said. This is before everything got recorded on phones. She would just keep up with it and then transcribe that at her computer. And I was always fascinated by the process. I'm like, wow, you can sit in a meeting and then take all of that content, put it in written form, and then send it out for everyone to review and add and edit. And this was a lot of her working life was spent in this process. And so it's always fascinated me when I started my own business and I started doing this work that I call scribing, where I sit in meditative space and I am exactly what I'm doing right now, flowing through words and thoughts and ideas and creating content from that, creating podcasts and books and articles and meditations. That process is the same. It's transcribing. The difference is that it's transcribing energy, something that is unspoken, something that is moving through my consciousness, my mind, my third eye, my ears. The information comes in all different ways, but it's unseen. And then I'm transcribing it and creating something written and formed from something that's formless. And it's the most magical process, but it's not always well understood, or there's this mystery, to it. And some people use the word channeling. There's just all kinds of words that have been assigned to it. And sometimes I find when I try to describe what I do, there's a reflection back of, well, that's weird, or that's crazy, or, it goes through the person's filter who's in front of me or looking at it with me. And sometimes because it's not understood, it's judged for being different. And when I was meditating this morning, I just started feeling all the other ways in which people transcribe that perhaps we just haven't viewed it as that. The perspective we haven't looked at it through that filter yet. And so I was just going to ramble through a few that were coming forward, and you may have a whole list of your own to add. So for me, transcribing is taking collective consciousness, information that is in the collective energy field of our planet, of the universe, of whatever I'm focusing on, and taking that collective information through my filter, my voice, and then sharing it as stories or ideas that come through my human understanding. So it's collective through to individual and then shared. But that collective, I'm a part of that collective energy field, but it includes all humans who've ever lived, all humans who will ever live, all beings from outside of this planet, source, the earth. Like, it's all kinds of energies. When I was looking at similarities, I was thinking, well, lawyers do the same thing, right? Lawyers have case studies or previous laws that have been enacted by the collective. So something happens, there's a case, a judge makes a decision, and it's created into some sort of law. And then the current lawyers are going through all of those old case studies to say, see, this is why my client should get what they need. It's because of all these previous examples of how it has worked. And so the lawyer is transcribing. They're taking that information from the collective energy field and then applying it through their filter, through their client's need, to what would serve their case. I thought that was pretty cool. I don't know if lawyers would agree that it's that simple, but the process is very similar. It's the same with doctors. Doctors are studying in medicine, in medical school. They are studying all that has ever been learned before and looking at the research of what's currently available in our collective energy field here on Earth. So what are the current researching labs producing as results? What are the latest possibilities, the studies, the test trials? All of that energy, that information in the current collective field is informing how they show up with their patients. And then when they sit or are in surgeries or healing procedures with their patients, they're pulling on all of that collective data that they've studied that is stored in their mind, or perhaps they're online or looking at current research. They're bringing all of that information through their unique filter and then applying it to what serves their unique patient in that moment. So the same doctor with 100 patients could have 100 different transcriptions for them because each individual is unique. So it's, again, collective to individual. Teachers, it's the same with teachers, right? They study and they explore whatever their field of study is, and then they add their own learning to it. They write their own papers, their own books. They create their own lesson plans. They bring that collective information through their filter, and then they apply it to the individual group of students at that moment in their classroom. And every year the classroom is going to be different, and the students are going to be different, and the collective energy field is going to be different. This is why new teachers, I believe, get so frustrated with older, more seasoned teachers, and they believe some of those older teachers are sort of stuck in their ways or using old lesson plans or just redoing the same things that they've done before. I mean, we could apply that to lawyers and doctors and every profession. Staying current with the collective energy field right now is so important because the energy is always changing. So if you're doing what you've always done and the energy is constantly expanding and shifting and people are trying new things and bringing forward new information, you're not current, you're not staying with the flow of what's available. And those who are staying with the flow realize that those who aren't. So sometimes there's a rub in that process. It was the same. I was feeling how transcription happens for those technology people, clearly not me. Those people in technology who are writing software and code and creating new applications. They are seeing something that is unseen They have a vision or an idea, or they've tapped into a collective need that is available on our planet. And then they write code that brings the formless into form. And suddenly you have an app, right? This is how Facebook got created. It's how Google got started. I mean, that's how the internet began. Someone had an idea and they brought the formless into form. And it meets the collective need. And so that collective need feeds upon it. It's like, yes, more of that. And as more of that happens and more people are using those collective creations, new ideas are born again. And then there's another new need. And so it just keeps expanding, further and further out. So for me, and musicians, that's another one I just want to tap into. I love music so much, and I love how sounds and voices create vibration. They take the feelings of what is happening emotionally in humans on our planet, and then that human emotion is put into musical notes, into instruments, into voices, into sounds. One of my favorite groups is the Echelon Effect. They use the sounds of nature, the beautiful sounds of the ocean and the water, and they combine it with instruments. And then these new creations are brought forward. They're transcriptions. They are interpretations that those individuals creating it hear or sense or feel or see something collectively, bring it through their individual filter, and then share it as a gift with all of us collectively. It's just transcribing energy through the medium of sound. Isn't that miraculous? Like, when I just feel the beauty of that, it's so awesome. It's so awesome. So that is the process that I am in right now. I created a series of recordings in August before I went to California to be with the trees and my friends. I created this series of recordings, 15 or 16 of them. And I would just sit like I am right now in meditation and feel the story coming through from the soul that was sharing the story with me. And I would just sit very carefully and hear the word in my ear, sense or feel the energy around me, speak it into my phone, and I have these hour-long audios. And so now, when I finally have the time and space to be with this book, I'm sitting in front of my computer playing the audio, which is my voice sharing that collective energy, that story coming through me. I'm transcribing those audios into a written document on a computer. And then that document is going to be put into the form of a book. And then that book is shared with the collective humanity, the collective energy field of all humans on this planet. And the transcribing process is the magic, right? Like me sitting here tapping into that energy, bringing it through my filter, and then sending it back out into the collective. It's a gift waiting to be received. So I say all of this because it's relevant for where I am today and what I'm working on, and it's what's most present for me. But also to say we all have this ability. Every one of us, every soul in a human form, has the ability to tap into collective information, collective energy. Some of us do it through what's physically already available as doctors, as teachers, as lawyers, as musicians. Some of us are using what's currently in the collective energy field. And then there are many of us who are bringing the unseen, the unknown, the formless through our filters and out into humanity. That's what Esther Hicks calls the leading edge of consciousness. You're out on the edge of the new frontiers of what has not been experienced yet. And you're bringing it through you, your human filter, and then sharing it with the world. It could be as simple as a drawing, a sketch, a song, a poem, a mantra, a new yoga move. It could be a new food. Oh my gosh, I forgot about that. Chefs do this, right? Recipes are passed down from generation to generation. They're kept secret within businesses. The secret recipe of KFC. I mean, have we all heard about that? The secret ingredients. Recipes are transcribing. We take something collective and bring it through our individual filter, and then we share it. It's why the same recipe made by 100 people will never taste the same. It's exciting. It's so exciting to think about. And I also know every one of us has this ability. Our invitation, our opportunity is to play with the different fields of energy that excite us, and then get better and better at how we transcribe. Get more and more confident in our ability to do it, so that when we're in those spaces of the unknown or the formless or the unseen. I just had a picture. My husband does design work for theaters. He can see the set in his mind, and then he creates it with architecture plans, right? Architects do this, house builders do this. We create something, and then this incredible theater stage set arrives. And we in the audience get to view something that existed before only in his mind. So I encourage you to play with trusting how you transcribe, the ways in which you transcribe. Play with it, practice it, get better and better at it, and then share what you are transcribing. Share what you see, what you know to be true, what you hear in your ears when you're really still, what you see in your third eye, what flows in through your crown chakra. Transcribe, and then start sharing those gifts, because there are those who have a match to what wants to flow through you energetically. Always. There are others in that same energy field waiting for you to transcribe. So, play with it. Have some fun. That is what I have ahead for my day, and I am so excited. All right, let us begin another beautiful day together. Thank you for tuning in to today's vibration. Let's take this message of pure love out into all of our communities and continue expanding love here on Gaia. So much love from my heart to yours.